Bill Gates is warning of the risks of artificial intelligence. The Microsoft founder says the government isn't ready to regulate AI and that pressing pause on the technology is not the answer. Chief Business Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis has the exclusive interview.
In the town of Kemmerer, Wyoming, population 2,400, billionaire philanthropist and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates is working on the next generation of nuclear energy with his company TerraPower.
This is actually the place where the nuclear island will be located.
With the coal plant off in the distance.
While getting this new plant running and creating jobs for the more than 100 employees at the retiring coal facility up the road is Gates's focus here. He also spoke in an exclusive interview with ABC News about that other game-changing technology in so much focus today, artificial intelligence.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman told me he's a little bit scared about this technology. Are you scared?
We're all scared that a bad guy could grab it.
The White House, the administration, regulators here in the U.S., do you think they're up to speed?
Not yet.
They're not ready.
Not yet. I mean,
why are they not ready?
You're never going to have every politician understanding it, but how do you build up a capacity for health applications, for education, to review things? The government has a role to play here. You know, they won't be the experts, but they have to be part of that discussion. And so the White House starting those conversations, that's all good.
Still, unlike others in the field, including Elon Musk, Gates opposes pausing AI development.
If you just pause the good guys and you don't pause everyone else, you're probably hurting yourself. You definitely want the good guys to have strong AI.
Can you guarantee that?
If you stop the good guys, you can guarantee it won't happen.
You've got a fake image of the Pope, fake images of President Joe Biden. At some point, if those proliferate at a much greater scale, won't that confuse people about what the truth is?
You're going to have to say, where did this come from? And
whose responsibility is that? Each of us?
The reader, the viewer.
Every person has the responsibility to question what they're looking at.
Society is going to start to say, okay, this source is more of a trusted source. It's not like we can say, hey, please stop making fake image.
And just as Gates has seen with nuclear, getting it right when the stakes are so high takes time.
You've put billions of dollars towards this project. Why are you so committed to nuclear energy?
Well, nuclear energy, if we do it right, will help us solve our climate goals.
What do you say to the critics who say it's expensive? There are the safety and security issues, and then there's the issue of radioactive waste, which lasts thousands of years.
Yes, today's plants are way too expensive. The economic challenge, you know, we just have to change. We've solved all the areas where there have been safety challenges. And we have dramatically less waste. But every one of those areas you mentioned, there are valid concerns that TerraPower has to show that we've solved.
Our thanks to Rebecca Jarvis and Bill Gates for that interview. The new reactor, which has been in the works for 15 years, is set to open in 2030. As for AI, Gates says that he's often surprised by how well it can already solve problems in healthcare and education. He sees it as an incredible tool for democratizing education, and he says it's still early days, but revolutionary. I want to bring in ABC News contributor, Google Tech Policy Fellow Mike Muse for more on that point. Mike, in terms of AI, Gates says that he's scared that a bad guy could grab this technology. What do you think he means by that?
I think what he's letting us know into the public is that there are bad actors everywhere, no matter what industry you're in, whether you're in banking, whether you're in sports, whether you're in gaming, like there's always going to be a bad actor that is there. So what he's doing is he's addressing head-on the reality and the possibilities of that, but he's also saying, but let's not stop this innovation from going forward. Let's not stop moving ahead because we're concerned about a certain population of bad actors.
So on that point, there are experts who've said we should pause this until we know more about it. Gates is saying no, because then you're pausing the good guys. You're just setting yourself back. So what do you make of that argument, and what are the alternatives if he's also saying this government is not ready to regulate this?
That's such a good question. And what he means by the good guys is there's so many tech companies, and you think about the big tech companies out there right now that are working extremely hard to make sure that every safety measure is in place, that they're testing their product very thoroughly. And if you don't have people who have like good AI principles, you and I talked last week about Bill of Rights. If you don't have these big tech companies that have AI principles as a guardrails, then they will be allowed to do the things that most people are concerned about on the internet. But what he's saying is let the good guys continue the advancement, let them do the testing, let them continuously iterate on it, let them learn what are this fail-safes that they need to improve upon, but let's not pause this innovation. Because if the good guys, quote unquote, pause it, that's not gonna stop the bad actors from going. So the more good people you have out there, it will outweigh the bad.
But he is, as I mentioned, also saying that this government isn't ready to regulate AI. So how do we fix that?
Really great question. Government, as you know, operates at a very slower pace. And just by the nature of the cadence in which government works, it doesn't coincide with the way and the pace of technology. Technology is growing so fast. Look, we're already at version 4 of ChatGPT, and that's only been around for like maybe a couple of years. And the government is just now wrapping their head around even the terminology of generative AI. And so it's hard for the government to understand the different terms, different types of subcategories of it. And so it's going to be hard for them to create policy for it. And then if you get into the partisanship aspect of it, it's going to make it even worse as the technology is growing faster and faster. And so the challenge is, which we've all been asking within the policy community is, well, who's to govern? Is it an independent federal agency that's free from partisanship, or is it self-regulation, think Meta with their oversight board? And so I don't think we've solved that right now, but I like that we're talking about how it should be regulated.
Now, Gates is also saying that individuals need to think critically about potential AI-generated fakes. But how do you learn to do that if you're not an expert?
Diane, I was nervous you were going to ask me that.
I think of the days of like when we started getting emails about Nigerian princes asking for us to take their money and trying to learn how to recognize that that's not real, and then trying to explain that to my mom, for example. And I feel like we're back there in a way.
I was like, man, I hope she doesn't ask me that question.
Yeah.
Because I have to have the uncomfortable answer. And the uncomfortable answer is America and society has to really begin to think more critically. Unfortunately, the way that big tech has allowed these different platforms to come is that Americans are so, and society is so headline driven, is that we don't even click on the articles. We only go based upon the headline and take that for face value. So as a result, we don't actually read the articles to see where the nuance is. And so because we're so headline driven, we don't appreciate the nuance of things. We are losing as a society our ability to think critically. Even if you look at the Pope's picture that Rebecca Jarvis mentioned, even I could say that looks like too much of a fashion moment for this Pope to wear.
Make
so
sense.
for me, it didn't make sense. Now, if this was the previous Pope that retired, I can say, that's on brand because he was a little bit more flashy. But this Pope really took that vow very seriously. He's a very minimalist. He lives very a low-key lifestyle. So for me, that was such at odds, but that's the critical thinking that we are losing ourselves to. And so that's the uncomfortable answer that I hope that I don't get canceled for, is that we need to start just thinking more critically as a society. And that starts with like K-12 education in terms of how do we teach our students to think critically.
Probably also makes a big difference whether or not you want that thing to be true or not.
That's the psychology of it.
Which is a whole other conversation. Yeah. But what are you watching for as this technology becomes more mainstream, Mike?
A couple of things. I'm looking for more people to kind of get out there and talk about all the good things that generative AI could do, while at the same time, I'm looking for other people to get involved and to say, you know what, I want to be involved in how do I help create guardrails to ensure that these tech companies that the bad actors of these tech companies don't overpower the good actors of it. And so I'm hoping more people will sign up and interested in computer science. I'm really hoping, Diane, that more people take an interest in data, becoming a data scientist, because that really is the key. I always harp on that every time you and I talk. These computers can only learn based upon the data sets that are being inputted into that. And I think if we can get more data scientists involved, I think we can kind of help curb the bad guys that Bill Gates is talking about.
All right, Mike Muse, always great to have you. Thank you.
Good times.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.